Hello friends, myself Siddharth Chauhan. Welcome to Easy Medcam. So we were discussing about the epilepsy in the previous section of this series. We had already discussed about the introductory aspects related to the epilepsy. What is the difference between seizures and what is difference between epilepsy, and all seizures cannot be termed as epilepsy. We already discussed those sections in the and we already discussed about the physiology, what all types of epilepsy we are having. So we already discussed that if any electrical activity in the brain is disturbed and it will become an abnormal, it can result into the abnormal motor responses experiences, it can result into the abnormal sensory experiences, and as well as the psychomotor experiences. So it is commonly mistaken by the doctors and even the medical students that even if an epilepsy means only the abnormal motor experiences, but it is not so. It can be the abnormal sensory as well as abnormal psychomotor experiences as well. So in the previous section we already discussed about the types of the abnormal motor experiences. It can be the tonic, clonic, tonic-clonic, or tonic and the myoclonic type. So in this section of the videos we will be discussing about what all the pharmacological aspects to treat the epilepsy of motor experiences. So we will discuss about how to cure all those clinical manifestations, right? So in this section we will be discussing about the anti-epileptic drugs. We will discuss about the anti-epileptic drugs or the pharmacology related to how to cure the epilepsy of the abnormal experiences. So we discuss about the types of the seizures. It can be the partial, it can be the generalized. If they are the partial, what all drugs we are using as a first line, then the second line. So this section will be the brief introductory part. Later we will be discussing about all the types of seizures in the detail. So what are the drugs which are used as a first line drug in the partial epilepsy. Okay, so what all drugs are used in the partial epilepsy, and the second one, what all drugs are used in the generalized epilepsy as the first line of drug and as the second line of drug. Okay, so as far as clinical manifestation is concerned, if the epileptic patient is showing the partial epilepsy, the first line of drugs which we are using are the carbamazepines, right? Carbamazepines. So we are using the carbamazepine as a first line of drug in partial epilepsy. So if anyhow the carbamazepine does not work, so the second line of drug is valproate or the valproic acid. Okay, so in the case of the partial epilepsy we are using the carbamazepine as a first line of drug. If anyhow this carbamazepine doesn't work, we are using the valproate or the valproic acid. So this is the how to cure the partial epilepsy. So what about the generalized epilepsy? As far as the first line drug of the generalized epilepsy is concerned, we are using valproate as a first line of drug, valproic acid as a first line of drug. If anyhow it doesn't work, then we are using the lamitrazine. So we are using lamitrazine as a second line of drug in generalized epilepsy. So these are the how to cure the patients with the partial and the generalized epilepsy, right? So what about the absence seizures? we'll be discussing about these types of seizures in the detail in the next section of the videos. So in this section we are discussing only about the pharmacological aspects. So as far as the absence seizures or absence epilepsy is considered, what is the first line of drug? The first line of drug in case of the absence seizure is ethosuximide. Ethosuximide is the first line of drug, and the second line of drug is as usual the valproic acid. So the point here what we had to make in consideration is that the valproic acid is used as a second line of drug in the case of the partial epilepsy. It can be used as a first line of drug in the case of generalized epilepsy, and it can be used as a second line of drug in the case of absence epilepsy also. So here we have to make a star point that the valproate is the most common or the most broad spectrum anti-epileptic drug. So the most broad spectrum anti-epileptic drug is what? Valproic acid. Most common or broad spectrum anti-epileptic drug is what? It is valproic acid. So the valproic acid works by all the mechanism. It can block the sodium channel also, it can block the calcium channel also, and it can block the potassium channel also. So the mechanism of consideration, as far as this mechanism of the valproate is considered, it can block all the channels. It can block the calcium channels as well, it can block the sodium channel as well, and it can block the potassium channel as well. So the MOA of valproate is something which is very different as all the drugs of the anti-epileptic is considered, right? So these are the types of epilepsy and the first and the second line of treatment for the epilepsy. So how to treat a monoclonic seizures, right? What is the first line of drug and what are the second line of drug in case of the myoclonic seizures? So as far as this myoclonic is considered, how to treat and what are the first line and second line of drug in the case of myoclonic seizures? Right? The first line of drug in the case of the myoclonic seizure is as usual the valproic acid or the valproate, and the second line of drug is clonazepam. Okay, first line is valproate and the second line is clonazepam. So how to treat a very dangerous situation? We already discussed this. How to treat the dangerous situation which is called an status epilepticus, right? How to treat the status epilepticus? How to treat this situation? What are the first line or the how if anyhow those patients will come to your clinic, how to treat them? So the very first drug which we are using in the case of status epilepticus is short duration, or we have to give an IV bolus, intravenous bolus or of diazepam. So the first we have to give a diazepam, or we can give a lorazepam also. In the case of status epilepticus, if the patient will come to your clinic or the hospital, we have to give the IV bolus or the slow infusion of diazepam or lorazepam. If anyhow the patients will not recover, so we have to give them the slow infusion IV of diazepam. First we are giving an IV bolus, right? Bolus injection. Second, if the patient doesn't recover soon, we have to give a slow infusion of this diazepam or lorazepam IV. Slow infusion. First we have to give the bolus, IV bolus, then we have to give the IV slow intravenous slow infusion of diazepam or lorazepam. If then also the patient doesn't recover or doesn't feel well, then we have to go for a phenytoin sodium. Phenytoin sodium, or nowadays we are not using the phenytoin as directly to the status epilepticus. We are using a fosphenytoin. So why we are using a fosphenytoin instead of the phenytoin which we are using previously? Because as far the phenytoin is considered, the phenytoin is irritant to the veins. They will cause an irritation, or they will cause a irritation or inflammation to veins, and it can result into the phlebotomers, right? It can result into the phlebotomers, inflammation or irritation to the vein. So to reduce that clinical manifestation, or to reduce those side effects of the phenytoin usage, we are using a fosphenytoins nowadays to reduce those irritations which is caused by the phenytoin. So if anyhow those patients in the case of status epilepticus, after giving a fosphenytoin they doesn't recover, then we have to go for phenobarbital, a barbituric acid. We have to go for the barbiturates, which is a phenobarbitals, right? So anyhow, then also the patient doesn't recover from the status epilepticus, then we have to go for a general anesthesia. We'll be discussing about the general anesthesia in the upcoming videos. So this is the method how to treat the patient with status epilepticus. First we have to give the diazepam or lorazepam in the IV bolus. If anyhow then also the patient doesn't recover, then we have to give a slow infusion IV of the same diazepam or lorazepam. So nowadays we are not using the diazepam as much, we are using a lorazepam. So this we have to consider lorazepam IV bolus, first injection, then slow infusion. If anyhow the patient doesn't recover, then we have to go for the fosphenytoin or the phenytoin. Phenytoins we are not using much nowadays because it is causing the irritation or the inflammation which can lead to the phlebotomers. If then also the patient doesn't recover, then we have to go for the barbiturates, barbituric acid, which is a phenobarbitals. Then also the patient doesn't recover, then we have to go for the general anesthesia. So we have to keep it in our mind that if the patient of status epilepticus will come to your hospitals, we have to make a general anesthesia or anesthesia within the 20 minutes. So we have to keep it in our mind that no good doctor should stay not more than 20 minutes without the general anesthesia of the status epilepticus patient, right? So here one more consideration we have to keep it in our mind, that there are so many disadvantage of using the phenytoin nowadays. So what are the disadvantages? So not to give the phenytoin to the females, right? We should not give the phenytoin to the females. Phenytoin should not be given, right? They should not be given to the females. Phenytoin should not be given to the females. Not only the phenytoin, we should not give them carbamazepine as well. Carbamazepine as well. So the carbamazepine and the phenytoin should not be given to the females. This is the consideration. So why not to give the phenytoin or carbamazepine to the females? Because they reduce the action of oral pills. Because they reduce action of oral pills. Okay, they reduce the action of oral pills. So there are so many disadvantages as well. Not only this, they reduce the action of oral pills, because this is not only for all the females, right? This is not for all the females. They cause many disadvantages as well, such as it can cause an ataxia. It can cause a nystagmus. It can cause a dysarthria. So this dystaxia, nystagmus and dysarthria and arthralgias, they are not only caused by the phenytoin. These symptoms are not only caused by phenytoins. Instead, all the anti-epileptic drugs can cause these symptoms, combined symptoms. All anti-epileptic can cause. Such symptoms, right? All anti-epileptic can cause the ataxia, nystagmus, and dysarthrialgias and arthralgias. All will produce. So and the next disadvantage of using the phenytoin is they can cause a coarsening of the facial symptoms. So the coarsening of facial symptoms. Okay, the coarsening of the facial symptoms is the other disadvantage of using the phenytoins with the females. Not only the coarsening, it can cause outgrowth or the hair all over the bodies, so which is called as an hirsutism. So as the hirsutism is also caused by using the phenytoin and carbamazepine in case of females. And the other disadvantage is gingival hyperplasia. So these all are the symptoms which are using when the females are using the phenytoin. Not only this, if the pregnant females are using the phenytoin, so it can cause a teratogenic effect as well. It has a teratogenic so you have to make the spellings right. So teratogenic effect, so it can cause a Hydantoin syndrome as well, right? Hydantoin syndrome. So these all are the effects of using the phenytoins in the females. Not only this, it can reduce the vitamin D deficiency as well. Vitamin D will get reduced, or it can deplete the vitamin D in the females, right? So it is what is the manifestation of reduced vitamin D? It is the osteomalacia. So it can cause an osteomalacia as well. So if anyhow the vitamin D is deficient, so it can cause a osteomalacia. It can reduce the folic acid uptake in the body as well. If anyhow the folic acid is reduced, we can what is manifestations? We are having a macrocystic megaloblastic anemia, right? Macrocystic megaloblastic anemia. Macrocystic megaloblastic anemia, right? So these all are the symptoms when we are using the phenytoins as very common. So this we have to keep it in our mind, that what all the drugs which we are using in the case of status epilepticus. So these are the drug therapy or the anti-epileptic drugs, how to treat the types of seizures or the epilepsy. So I hope you like the cover of mine. If do so, please like, share and subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more informative videos like this. We'll be continuing about the epilepsy and the types of epilepsy in the next section of the videos. So I thank you.